Hendrick Motorsports cannot catch a break. Unfortunately, Alex Bowman is the latest Hendrick driver expected to miss multiple races. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. It's an exciting day if you saw my previous announcement, which we'll touch on in just a moment. But first, this episode is sponsored by Pork King Good. Based in Wisconsin, Pork King Good is the only woman-owned pork rind manufacturer in the country. They sent me more than 10 different pork rind flavors to try out. They're basically the Ben & Jerry's of pork rinds. They do it all. They even have ground up pork rind crumbs. Zero carbs, gluten-free, could be used as chicken finger breading. Their other products include all sorts of unique seasoning shakers, including a brand new beer and bourbon flavored seasonings. Pork King Good offers fast and free shipping on their website, which I'll also link down in the description below. And they have a special deal for fans of Out of the Groove. Use code OOTG10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. They say this is most likely the world's hottest pork rind, which is a very interesting title. Curiosity is getting the better of me. Okay, that's not too bad. Tastes pretty... There it is. Ooh, okay, I still have a whole show to do. This was a bad idea. Thank you to Pork King Good for sponsoring this episode. Be sure to check them out. Are my eyes watering? Oh gosh. I want to get to the news first. We'll talk about the Out of the Groove Live Fast Motorsports announcement at the end of this episode in case you missed it this morning. Let's start with Colleague Racing. Today they revealed that Kyle Larson, that's right, will drive their number 10 Xfinity Series Chevy at Darlington in a couple weeks. I think we can pretty safely pencil Kyle Larson in as the favorite for that weekend. Take a look at this paint scheme though. It's the HendrickCars.com, the classic look, but with the bright yellow Colleague number 10 on the roof. A little jarring, a little awkward, but yeah, just interesting news. I mean, Larson will more than likely be the favorite to win that race, but I think we can move on and talk, unfortunately, about Kyle Larson's Cup Series teammate, Alex Bowman. You more than likely have already heard the news, but today, Hendrick Motorsports announced that Alex Bowman will miss the next 3 to 4 weeks due to injury. Josh Berry, who just got done subbing for Chase Elliott, will fill in the meantime, driving the number 48 Ally Camaro. Here's the statement Alex Bowman released himself earlier today. Last night, I was involved in an on-track incident while racing and fractured a vertebrae. First, I want to let everyone know I'm feeling okay. My focus is now on healing and resting. Being out of the car is never an update any driver wants to make. I'm thankful to Josh Berry and Hendrick Motorsports for stepping up to the plate, and I know the entire Ally Racing team will give it their all these next few weeks. I'll be doing everything I can at home to help the team and ensure my recovery is as quick as possible to get back in the 48 car soon. Fractured vertebrae. I'm no doctor, but that doesn't sound very pleasant. Now, Flow Racing posted a clip of the wreck that Alex Bowman was involved in last night on Twitter. It's not particularly graphic or anything. In fact, Alex Bowman and the other driver in this case both got out of their cars and walked away, but here was the accident. It took place during a high-limit racing series event in Iowa. The racing sprint cars. Ooh, man. The High Limit Racing Series is actually a new series that was co-founded by Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, Alex Bowman, dirt racer himself, competing in this event, teammate of Kyle Larson, but unfortunately an injury will now keep him out of his NASCAR seat for the next few weeks. Owner Rick Hendrick had this to say, quote, "We're relieved Alex is home in good spirits and getting world-class treatment. Giving him ample time and the foremost resources to heal is our top priority. He's having a tremendous season, and the number 48 is at the top of its game. We know what Josh is capable of in the race car, and that Blake Harris and the team will continue operating at a high level until Alex is ready to return. He has our full, unequivocal support." Again, the timeline they're giving is 3 to 4 weeks, which means Alex Bowman could potentially return in time for the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. Although, should he miss that race, I've already seen fans on social media wondering if Jimmy Johnson could drive the 48 in his place. I think it's a little soon to be suggesting something like that, especially because everyone suggesting it is kind of excitedly suggesting it. I don't know. I get it. I completely understand it, but it's a little disrespectful to Alex Bowman. Dude was in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s shadow for years. Now he's in Jimmy Johnson's shadow driving the 48. Let him be his own guy. Don't try to put the legends back in their old cars so quickly. But as a fan, I do understand it. It would be interesting if Jimmy Johnson somehow returned to Hendrick for one race. But that's not what I want to focus on. Rick Hendrick said it in his statement. At the 48 team, Alex Bowman's off to a tremendous start, and he's not wrong. Through the first 10 races this year, Bowman has 6 top 10s, 3 top 5s. He's 9th in points, but was leading the standings for a while before that 60-point penalty. Still, 9th in points despite that penalty is very impressive. His 10.3 average finish is by far his career best. The only blemish perhaps on Bowman's record so far this season, besides the penalty, is the fact that he's only led 47 laps and doesn't have any race wins or any stage wins. I bring that up because now that Bowman will miss a few weeks, will fall even further down the regular season standings, we have to ask the question, will Alex Bowman still qualify for the playoffs? Is there a way for him to point his way into the top 16, or will he have to win a race later this summer? Allow me to do some hypothetical math for a moment. I'm not even sure that's a real phrase. I think I just made it up. It sounds like Bowman will miss 3 points races. If we factor out the penalty, Alex Bowman has averaged 33 points earned per race this year. So 3 times 33, that's 99 points Bowman may miss out on. I know this isn't exact, but if we were to deduct 99 points from Bowman's current point total, he would fall from 9th in the standings down to around 23rd. Now, I believe a more realistic scenario is Bowman will be around 20th, 21st in points when he comes back from injury. Can Alex Bowman point his way back into the playoffs? Or will he need to win a race? Something, again, he has not done in over a year. We just had this conversation about Chase Elliott, but Chase Elliott missed 6 points races. It's been obvious since the beginning that he's in must-win territory, but no one's really worried about Chase Elliott because he's won multiple races, I think every year since 2018. He's been to 3 straight championship 4s. I don't think anyone's that worried about Chase Elliott. We all expect him to win a race at some point this summer. But Alex Bowman? Look, he's had a great season. Very consistent. Lots of top 10s, a few top 5s sprinkled in there. But he hasn't won a race. 2 of his teammates, Larson and Byron, have won 2 races each. He's not leading the same number of laps as those guys. Larson and Byron have led 300, 400 laps each. Bowman's down in the 40s. Bowman has been consistent enough that if he's only 20th, 21st in the standings, then he very well could point his way back into the top 16. But then you have to worry about the cut line potentially moving. Like last year with so many different winners, Martin Truex Jr. was top 5 in the regular season standings and missed the playoffs. I don't think we have quite the same level of parity this year, but a guy further down in the standings like an AJ Allmendinger or a Ryan Preece or an Austin Dillon like he did last year could win a race and move that cut line further up, make it harder and harder for Bowman to reach. So if push comes to shove and Alex Bowman needs to win to make the playoffs this year, I just don't trust him. When was the last time Alex Bowman went out there and just dominated a race, start to finish, and won? I can think of Auto Club 2020 because I was there. That was pre-pandemic. Maybe there's one I'm missing, but if it comes down to must win for Alex Bowman, I fear this will be the 2nd year in a row where his season was somewhat derailed by injury. Last year, injury came in the playoffs, knocked him out of the 2nd round. This year, an early injury could put him in a very difficult spot for the rest of the regular season. But we'll see. I'm rooting for Alex Bowman. Again, he's had a fantastic start to the year, very consistent. I hope he comes back stronger. I hope he contends for some wins, and who knows, maybe he can top 10 the field to death and sneak into the playoffs that way. It's not out of the question. Now, speaking of questions, this is the 2nd Hendrick Motorsports driver in just the past couple of months to be sidelined due to an injury sustained during extracurricular activities. So once again, I think fans and those around the industry are asking the question, is it worth it? If you're a team owner, is it worth it to let your drivers go out and do whatever they want, whether that be snowboarding, racing sprint cars? Is it worth the risk? I've been pretty consistent on this the past month or so. Look, my theory is that race car drivers are different. There's something about how their brains are wired that's different from most you and me. My theory is that if you let your driver race during their off time, exercise however they want, it will make them better on Sunday, which in my opinion is usually worth the risk. And I guess my most recent evidence would be Kyle Larson in 2021. Raced just about every sprint car race, dirt late model race he could, and he also won 10 cup races in the championship. That was Hendrick then, this is Hendrick now, unfortunately having a rough go of it with two of their stars now sidelined early in the season. It's hard not to look at Joe Gibbs racing a little bit differently now. Look who's leading the points, Christopher Bell. Joe Gibbs has made it clear he does not want Christopher Bell racing dirt, driving sprint cars. Yet Bell has the points lead and just won the Bristol dirt race a couple weeks ago. Kyle Busch was always very successful at JGR. Remember, Joe wouldn't let him run the Indy 500. It's hard not to look at that Joe Gibbs racing philosophy a little differently now that Hendrick has had two of their star drivers injured in recent weeks. But that being said, I'm not going to change my opinion. I'd like to think that if I were a team owner and my super talented driver wanted to stretch his legs somewhere, I'd let him. Yeah, I might have a few conditions like, hey, maybe during the playoffs, let's cut back on the extracurriculars, focus on your NASCAR job. But otherwise, I'd like to think that I'd be pretty hands-off, kind of the way Rick Hendrick is. But that being said, Joe Gibbs' position is starting to look a little more and more reasonable. I'm not saying that's what I would do if I was a team owner, but I understand Joe Gibbs' philosophy. And hey, drivers like Christopher Bell, if you've got an issue with coaches' rules, you don't have to sign that contract. He didn't have to sign an extension. I hope Alex Bowman is able to make a swift and full recovery. We want to see him back out on the racetrack as soon as possible. Let me know how you feel about this situation down in the comment section below. Are you still full on, no, let the drivers do whatever they want? Or are you starting to see the benefits, perhaps, of Joe Gibbs' philosophy? Owners who are a bit more restrictive. Which side do you land on? How do you feel? Let me know down in the comment section below. Real quick before we wrap up, I got to talk about the Out of the Groove Daily Downforce Live Fast Motorsports announcement we made earlier this afternoon. I'm blown away by the response so far. This has been a long time in the works, at least a couple months. Had to move some things around. It's been a whirlwind behind the scenes, but I'm really excited with the finished product, what you're going to see on track, the content surrounding it you'll see over the next couple of weeks. I also want to mention the diecast t-shirts we have for sale on thedailydownforce.com/shop. When we first launched at 1 p.m. Eastern time today, the site crashed with overwhelming support, people pouring in, wanting to check everything out. In some ways that's kind of cool, but at the same time, the site shouldn't have crashed, so I do want to apologize for the technical difficulties earlier today. I know a lot of fans were stuck refreshing, getting close to the different pages and then being kicked out or having technical glitches with their orders. Things have mostly gotten fixed here the past couple of hours, but I do want to apologize to all of you for those technical difficulties. And I want to mention that if you did place an order, if you had any issues with your t-shirt or diecast order, send an email to help@dailydownforce.com. We've got a couple folks standing by there ready to help out in any way they can. Truly appreciate the support. I want this to be a fun experience, obviously for the creators that are on the car, but also for the entire community. We're doing that big meetup at Darlington. We've got tons of hero cards, stickers, and more to give away. Again, lots of fun content being crafted around this. I want this to be a fun experience for everyone, so I feel bad that the online shopping experience today did not meet those standards, but hopefully everything is getting fixed, is almost back up to full capacity now. Truly appreciate your patience. Again, if you did have any issues, send an email right here. We should be able to get everything sorted out in due time. But once again, thank you all so much for the support. We'll talk more, I'm sure, about this whole deal over the next couple of weeks, but in the meantime, can't thank you all enough. Absolutely blown away once again. Thank you so much for watching this video right here. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, helps me out a ton. If you're new to the channel, maybe found us for the first time today and you love NASCAR, you're in the right place. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Got lots of exciting videos scheduled over the next couple of weeks. And thank you as always to my Patreon supporters for your continued support. I will see you again very, very soon. Thank you all once again for everything. It's hard to put it all into words at this point, just completely overwhelmed. Today, pretty much every day, honestly. Very blessed to do what I get to do and to share my NASCAR experience with all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.